Let's talk about the O-lineman this year for the Gamecocks. What is going on? Welcome back to Canadian Cock Talk on the Spurs Up Show, the home of all your best Gamecocks content. And today we continue our breakdown of the position rooms for each and every position of this Gamecocks football team. And that leads us, we've done quarterbacks, we've done running backs, next up offensive line. I feel good about this offensive line. I'm not going to lie, I'm going to be positive coming out of the gates. This offensive line, yes, I was really high my last video on the running back position because there is good need to be positive about that running back room. But what complements the running back room? The offensive lineman. And I think our offensive line is in a very, very good spot this season for the Gamecocks to be successful in that rushing game, to establish a good rushing game, able to open the passing lane and give Luke Doty, who, yes, he was a freshman last year, is coming into his sophomore season. He still only played, 3 games, 2.5 games technically. He's still got lots to learn, and to have a good and experienced offensive line to give him time in the pocket is going to be key for Luke Doty, for this rushing game success, and really this Gamecocks football team is in a total their success, because something that we have lacked in the last couple years is scoring. And scoring the play always starts in the hands of the offensive line. So let's take a look at some of the guys we got on this offensive line this year. You're going to have Ja'Kai Moore, you're going to have Javon Gwynn, you're going to have Jordan Rhodes, you're going to have Dylan Whalen, and then you're going to have your returning starting center, Eric Douglas, back this season. I take a look at those 5 guys right there, and you see experience. First of all, Dylan Whalen, Eric Douglas, and then you got Jordan Rhodes are all seniors. They've been playing a long time in this Gamecocks football program, and they have the experience. They have the in-game experience, which is going to be absolutely key. And you look at Javon Gwynn, who is a junior, and then you look at Ja'Kai Moore, who is a sophomore. So you have a nice, experienced, big offensive line, which I think that is a main factor in how your offensive line performs, because yes, you could do all these things in practice. You can do all these things in spring ball, starting off with summer ball and then going into fall. It's completely different when you get into an in-game experience and have guys that you haven't been going up against each and every single practice, because you start to get tendencies. You start to pick up on what these guys are like each and every practice. It is much different when you're in-game. So to have guys who have had multiple in-game experiences at the offensive line, I think are going to be absolutely huge for the Gamecocks. Not only that, not only the main 5 guys, but you got some good guys under that too. I look at guys like Justin Turnetine, a transfer from Hutchison, who we got, I think, last year or 2 years ago. He's a senior this year. You got Wyatt Campbell. You got Vershawn Lee, who was a guy who came in last year. Guys just developing. You got tons of good talent on this football team and in this offensive lineman room ready to break out. And I think we got depth on this offensive line. Yes, it sucked that we lost Sidarius Hutcherson to the draft last year. He was one of our best offensive linemen that we've had in a while. He was a guy that you have to root for. He's just a fighter, a guy that fought to the end with the Gamecocks. Huge guy, was a huge guy in the weight room, just a great guy to have in your football program. But I look at these guys that you still have now, and I'm very excited for where this offensive line is at. I'm very excited about where this running game is at for the Gamecocks, and it always comes back to the offensive line. You cannot have a good rushing game without a good offensive line, and it goes vice versa. Your offensive line cannot be good without a good rushing game. Yes, your offensive line could create the holes and everything, but if you don't have running backs who are able to find those holes and able to do things, your offensive line isn't going to do good. But I am happy to say that I am looking at both position sets for the Gamecocks in the running backs room and in the offensive lineman room, and saying that they complement each other very well, and that you have a good core for what this Gamecocks rushing game should be. In the passing game, same thing. You have a sophomore quarterback, but let's be honest. Luke Doty has played 2.5 games for the Gamecocks so far. He's still learning. He's still developing. He still needs to have those in-game experiences to get better. And one thing that helps a quarterback develop is time in the pocket, is an experienced offensive line, is to have a center that he's already worked with in Eric Douglas, which is going to be huge. That's an underrated piece that not many people look at. A center that has worked with the quarterback before. The transfers between going under center and shotgun and everything, it takes time to get. It's a work in progress. And if you have guys who have already worked together, if you had a new center, a freshman center, or a guy who hasn't had that much experience coming in this season at center, it'd be a completely different scenario. So to have Eric Douglas back, I think is a huge key for the Gamecocks in the center position, and just the smoothness of how each play starts for this Gamecocks team. But I really like where this offensive line is at, and I really like, of course, where this running game is at so far. And the Gamecocks, I think offensive line and running back is going to be a huge, huge positive of this Gamecocks offense this season. So thank you guys so much for tuning into this video of Canadian Cock Talk. Definitely come back next time. Like the video if you're on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Subscribe if you're on YouTube. Follow if you're on Twitter or Instagram. And definitely come back next time.